Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker facing new questions about his appointment last week. The White House expressing confidence in Whitaker. Meanwhile, Maryland is asking a federal judge to replace Whitaker with Rod Rosenstein. Let's bring in our headliner, former independent counsel Ken Starr, former U.S. Solicitor General and author of the book Contempt, a Memoir of the Clinton Investigation. How you doing, sir? Good morning to you, and thanks for being our headliner.
Bill. Hi, Sandra.
Well, what I think is very interesting about this whole appointment is that you have a very different opinion from our guest last hour, the former Attorney General Michael Mukasey. He seemed a bit dubious about the appointment. First, I want you to hear from Mukasey, and I'll ask you about it. Watch.
Okay.
The problem here is that if it turns out that an acting attorney general is a principal officer and Matt Whitaker has not been confirmed by the Senate in any position, then anything he does that could be done only by a confirmed attorney general is void.
Okay, now you disagree with that. Tell us why.
Well, I have the greatest respect for General Mukasey, Judge Mukasey, and I may be wrong, but the way I read the Vacancies Act, Bill and Sandra, is it is a statute passed by Congress. It does give the president this interim authority to fill a vacancy with someone in whom he has confidence. But, you know, legitimate questions have been raised, but I think it's a lawful appointment.
Can you just explain why to those who disagree?
Oh, well, under the Vacancies Act, the president has tremendous leeway in who he sees fit to, and remember, this is the executive branch, and there's only one key officer in the executive branch. The Constitution, Article 2, vests power in him. Now, that doesn't mean it's unfettered power. He's not a monarch. We all understand all that, the rhetoric aside. But under this law passed by Congress, the president enjoys, where a vacancy exists, an enormous amount of discretion. There's certain criteria. They're pretty technical. The person must have been in place for 90 days and so forth and have a certain rating within the civil service system, essentially a senior officer. But subject to those criteria, as I read the law, I think that General Whitaker was lawfully appointed under this particular statute.
What Mukasey is arguing is that he needs Senate approval. You're saying exactly the opposite.
Well, under this statute, but there's a limit to the time in which he can serve under this statute. In other words, he can't continue to serve indefinitely. And so after a period of time under the statute, his authority goes away, so to speak. So the idea is, let's have someone fill it while there is a Senate confirmation process, but so the office doesn't remain vacant. Now, that having been said, ordinarily, it would be the Deputy Attorney General who is duly confirmed who would step into the Attorney General's shoes once Jeff Sessions goes away. Ordinarily, it would be the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein. But the president saw fit to go in a different direction.
There is a warning shot from Adam Schiff, the minority member of the Intel Committee, the ranking Democrat there. He put this piece in the Washington Post, published, headline, Matthew Whitaker, we're watching you. And he fires off a warning to the president and to Whitaker should he not recuse himself, which he makes a prediction in this piece that he will not. His actions will be exposed. What do you make of the politics of this moment?
The politics are the politics, and they can be really ugly. I saw that the Justice Department issued a statement last evening to the effect that the acting Attorney General was consulting with the appropriate people in the Justice Department with respect to this issue of recusal. I think from everything I know about him, he has integrity, Mr. Whitaker has integrity, and I know that the Justice Department process works. I served as Chief of Staff to the Attorney General of the United States a century ago during the Reagan administration. And listen, there are processes in place, and then there are checks, and that's the role of the House of Representatives and so forth. But I think the process within the department, with its procedures, with its integrity, will then tell the tale. The other thing I want to say is that Charles Grassley is chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he has made it very clear that he intends to use his authority and that of the United States Senate to protect the Mueller investigation.
Okay. Maryland is going to bring a suit against Whitaker's appointment. Let's see where that goes, if it goes anywhere. The president, you would agree, though, has the right to appoint his attorney general. And then that process takes whatever form it takes. Having said that, based on what you know about Whitaker, why would the president choose him for this job?
I think he likes him. I think he has confidence in him. And obviously, I don't think it hurts that as a private citizen, as a private citizen, not as chief of staff to the Attorney General, which he served, and I think he served ably in that role under General Sessions. So there's no question that the president would like what then private commentator, private citizen Whitaker had to say, including about the Mueller investigation. But you know something, Bill and Sandra, once you take the oath to become that officer, the Attorney General of the United States, the world changes. And you now have a new fidelity. You're to set your personal opinions aside, for one thing, and to listen to law officers. You assess, you don't just blindly follow whatever they say, but you assess what these law officers in the Justice Department say. And I'll tell you this, I've had great experience in the sense of a long history of experience with the Justice Department ethics folks. They are as honest as the days are long, and so let's just allow this process to work.
One follow-up on
that.
He
may recuse himself.
He may. I guess that's the question, the driving question. Should he, based on the previous comments he had about special counsel's oversight of the Russia matter? Is that a question he's going to have to decide for himself?
That's exactly right, and that's the ultimate judgment call. And this includes not just some legal requirement, but also the appearance of justice, because we want the Justice Department to do its job, the Attorney General to do his job in an upright and lawful way, and that includes appearance issues. And so let's allow that process to run, see what the Justice Department ethics officers say, and then see what the acting Attorney General determines.
Let the process play out, says Ken Starr. Ken Starr, thank you. Our headliner today. Good to have you on the program.